All right, we're live for Fireside Chat number 180. Not much to go over for this week, honestly. I think I'm hoping over the break to get a couple things done that have not been able to do. Um, let's see. I'll talk a little bit about the idea for in-game activity being a substitute for event attendance. So I had talked about that, and of course, if any of the officers want to use that as a substitute already, that is totally fine. The problem comes in how we can actually check that, because basically, for anyone unfamiliar, what we do at the end of each month is we have people assigned to checking the archives and using the activity stat bot to see who was active for the past month. So it's very easy to check event attendance and see who has been active in that regard, but it's not very easy to know who has been active in game. And there's also an added question of what the criteria is for in-game activity. For example, is just being logged in on Steam or Battle.net enough? No, I would say no, but the question remains, and the idea for this would be that if you are playing with WA members, but it isn't an official WA event, that should still count, which I think is a good idea. The question is, how do we actually determine that? So I think the most logical thing is to have people in charge of noting down when they see people or when they play with them. But it's a question of how exactly we do that. So we've been talking about that in All Thing a little bit, how we divvy up that responsibility, or how exactly we can properly account for it. I'm okay with it inherently being not a perfect method. We're not going to know what everybody is doing all the time, who all is logging in. That's fine, but my hope is that it will cover some people who have different work schedules or are in different time zones and therefore cannot necessarily attend events, which should not disqualify you from some of those promotions or from being counted as active. So that's something of the issue of the day. I think there are some other things we've talked about previously that I believe I brought up in previous Firesides too, which include was hoping to get some events together for Yule. Unfortunately, I think we're not going to be doing anything too crazy. But I may have an announcement or two shortly for just some kind of general festivities that hopefully we can do over the next week or two. That aside, I do think some of the general moves I wanted to make for WA, I hope we can get those in place pretty soon, or at least discuss them further. Those including trying to get some more public WA events hosted, I think would be a good idea. As a way to funnel people to the server, improve activity, get recruits, etc. Further, I don't know if I've talked about my service record idea before, but I'd like to do that in the future. It's a pretty difficult task. Like, it is going to take a ton of work. So I don't know if it's actually going to get done, but I think it would be cool to have this service record set up. So basically what that is, it's kind of like what profiles are in the bot, but something that can be used by officer staff as well, who can then basically record all your previous posts, promotions, maybe a biography, but certainly comments, appraisals from officers. Also, the idea that you need recommendations to get a promotion, which would sort of encourage some more communication and encourage us to be evaluating potential officers and people that are up for promotion more closely. I think it would be cool thematically. I think it fits with the kind of military naval aspect to have a service record, and then be able to look in there and find, appraisals, comments from current and previous officers and leaders, and so on. So, yeah, I mean, I think the long and short of it is I need volunteers to do some of this stuff, and I think whether that be helping me set up the service record system, I could use help with that. I could use help with more public events. I know technically, I guess, some of our events are public, but I'd like us to start hosting tournaments again, trying to get events like that run. And I know that's hard work and time consuming, but I think it's a very good idea to do, and I'd like to start doing it again. I'd also think that we should try to get more organized groups, rating competitive groups. This is all stuff we talked about at the officer meeting previously, and I think one of the office hours too. So I would like to get all that stuff done, and so we'll see how it shakes out. If we can kind of assign it to certain officers, work it in that way. But regardless, we need people to do this stuff, and we'll see if I'm able to find time to do it or not myself, but I definitely can't do it all myself. So yeah, consider it something of a call to arms. Further, I know I've talked about several times House Deputy relics, Special Forces unit, stuff like that. That's probably, we've had a lot of discussions about that. I think at the end of the day, it's just going to require me sitting down for an extended period of time and putting together the whole package and rolling that out. So that is something I want to do in the very near future as well. That's something that should be doable. So I think that will probably about do it. Again, I encourage people to come to me if they would like to host any special Yule events. Unfortunately, we haven't had many yet. But regardless, I'll announce one or two, I think, very soon. Beyond that, I think I'll go ahead and end Fireside here and begin office hours shortly.